Take two.
Here we go.
Hey, everybody. It's Lisa and Tanya with our podcast. And today we have TR
Odermatt.
Odermatt.
We keep mispronouncing, but that's kind
Let's
of
just roll.
yeah,
It's because
exactly.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, but
Just
you're
say TR.
he's a personal trainer here in our over 50 plus community called Sun City, Texas, and you're a certified personal trainer, certified nutritional coach. You also have written these books that are on Amazon
Yep.
about keeping our bodies active after 50, and
Very
we've got to
important.
change our mindset about how we do
Mhm.
those things, right?
Yeah. So that's a key word is mindset.
Okay.
You know, because I think a lot of people get to the point where they think best years are behind me, don't have anything left to prove. That's just the way it is. And they allow themselves to get into that mindset of just giving up. And I think that's a huge part of being physically fit begins mostly with being mentally fit, being in the right mindset to do it in the first place.
Why do
agree
we
with
get
that.
like that? What is it?
I think it's a complacency. I think it's you just watch what has happened to everyone else. You look around and you see unhealthiness, you see decrepitness, and you just naturally assume that's where you need to go
That
to.
you're going to
And it
get
is so
fit that
completely
way.
not true.
Yeah,
It just
Yeah.
is not. There's so much you can do. And
Mhm.
a lot of it has to do with the stuff we're eating and just not staying present and looking at the backs of labels, reading what we're picking up, just buying what you see based on the front where it says super improved this or fortified with that, instead of turning it around and seeing that's not actually the case.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those labels are not really designed to inform you. They're designed to entertain you. They're designed to let you think you
I'm
know
fully
what you're getting.
entertained.
We just finished our bonbons.
Yeah, exactly. And green
Yeah.
M&Ms.
Put 'em
Right?
We're all
away.
on a
We gotta
sugar
put
high.
on our-
But don't you think it's also like they've worked all their lives? They've
I think so.
they've been on the grind and on that rat
think
wheel,
so.
and they get home and they've
But
retired.
that's such the wrong mindset because
Okay.
now you have the time to
do
devote to
whatever
yourself.
you want.
Do you want to play with your grandkids or do you want to be, in with a
wheelchair.
bed with rails on both sides of it? I mean, I can stand up in the gym. I could stand up two 80-year-olds side by side, and one that really cares, takes care of themselves, is in the right mindset, and one that isn't. And they
Mhm.
look very much older and they think very much differently. They don't have the endorphins rolling anymore. They're filled with the preservatives and all of the kind of stuff
Yeah.
I don't want to get on a soapbox about, but
But it's part
it
of the whole
matters.
package.
It
And we were
matters.
even talking about even if you like to travel, which a lot of people do after they
Mhm.
retire. If it's hard to put that suitcase up in the overhead,
Yep.
guess what? You
Yep, yep.
could do something about that before you go
Yeah.
on your trip.
Well, then a lot of people decide not to do anything anymore because they just feel like they can't sit in that airplane seat or they can't walk.
It perpetuates. The
It
problem
does. It's self-feeding. It
perpetuates.
absolutely
just
is.
continues unless you
Yeah.
stop that mindset.
Yeah.
So, and I know people don't really like it when I say this, but what you're saying is it's a choice.
It absolutely is. There's a lot of the disease stuff that I see that is self-induced. Essentially, it's lifestyle induced.
It is.
And that's not to sort of slam stuff and make it sound as if it all is, but at the end of the day there's a lot you can do. You can get rid of the inflammation, you can get diabetes, a lot of this stuff, the obesity. You get on these GLP-1 drugs and you don't do the right things while you're on them, and so for instance, if you take GLP-1 and you don't take enough protein in and you don't train, your body is going, okay, let's take a little fat and let's take a little muscle and yet let's use that as fuel. And so when you come off of that 6 months later, if you haven't kept your body challenged, you haven't kept the protein, you're not going to slip back to where you were before. You're going to slip back even further because now you have less muscle. Now your engine is idling much lower. You've actually really done yourself a disservice and you're in a worse spot than when you began. Not to say GLP-1s don't work, but they have to be done in conjunction with the right mindset and taking the right precautionary steps.
And the right food.
And the right food
And
is absolutely
changing
100%.
the food that you're eating,
Yeah.
because that's kind of what they're saying as
Yeah.
well, is the fact that you're not changing the food you're eating. They're not eating
That's right.
healthy. They're eating less
Less.
of the bad stuff.
That's
Yeah,
right.
processed
Yep.
foods and things.
Yes.
So this that I am so excited about is this official 30-day tracking guide.
Mhm.
So you've got 4 levers of protocol. Tell
Yeah.
us about those.
So basically, I think that a lot of times people think of they're going to do one thing or another, and they don't kind of put them together. So as a nutrition coach, when I'm working with people, I'm constantly heckling them and asking them, what did you eat today? When we're done with this workout, what are you going to go home and eat? What did you have yesterday? It makes them crazy. But you got to understand that they
Feels
work
like
together.
So much work.
It really does. But at the end of the day, you got to do them in coordination with each other. That's what this is about, where it steps everything up. get enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cheat yourself of sleep, and don't go to bed with a glass of wine just finishing up the night before you head to sleep. You're
How
not going to get
come?
into REM
Wait,
because you're
why?
not going to get into REM sleep. You're
Okay.
not going to
I'm
be able to
not
get a
giving
deep
up.
sleep. So interrupted sleep is one of the big ones. Staying hydrated is another big one.
True.
The right
That'll
nutrition,
dehydrate
the
us.
right fitness. So it kind of all works as a system. That's what I try to
That's
work
true.
through here,
Yeah.
and get you in a point where you're able to get each one to work to build the other one.
So one thing I noticed right off the bat is you're not a big proponent anymore on the big heavy cardio of trying to get your heart rate up anymore, right?
No.
50 plus, you should be concentrating in a different direction.
You should be more focused on resistance training
Sure.
and building the muscle, because the muscle is there. It's going to cause your engine to have to work harder, and it's going to pull its own fat and muscle. Yeah.
Sure.
That's a good
So
point.
it's not to say you should not take a walk or play pickleball or golf or all of those things that are great. They're healthy. You're getting out.
And they're
Your
fun.
endorphins are going. But at the end of the day, you do also want to make sure you're getting some resistance training and you're keeping your muscles toned. Because
What about balance?
that's a lot too. That's a big
I
one as
feel
well.
my balance is a little off as I get older.
We train on that all the time as well. You know, whether it's foot in front of foot, dynamic balance, or it's static balance. There's ways to just make sure, because a lot of that is just mental. It's your mind having to realize the tiny little muscles have to fiber muscles have to keep firing. And as you get lazier, I guess you'd say, you get a little more complacent with getting up and doing
Yeah.
things that used to be fine. You're tripping over a rug. You kind of start getting into a situation where you're just not as stable as you were.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a physical thing as much as it is mental.
Isn't that crazy to
Mm.
think about?
But it just, to me, it's one of those, again, it just all makes sense,
Yeah.
right? When you really think
Yeah.
about it.
I-
We just don't realize the brain and the body.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
It's,
We were watching Saturday Night Fever.
of course.
Don't ask me why.
'Cause
Got
why
it.
wouldn't
But
you?
there was a scene when it was in a New York City street, and so it was a lot of extras. It was just
Sure.
real life people walking up the street in New York City, and everyone was lean, everyone was conscious about
Yeah.
their fitness, and so you just saw person after person, thin and lean and healthy, and then you just fast forward to doing a clip of New York City now.
So
And
different.
what has changed, and what has changed is processed foods, too
Mhm.
much carbohydrates, getting away from natural foods. All of those things
Absolutely.
have really worked to undermine, our
But
health.
my natural foods spoil very quickly. They don't last as long. It's sometimes more expensive to go that natural route. What do you tell people who are
That's
like,
too bad.
Yeah.
I'd rather pop a TV
Buy
dinner
less.
in the microwave?
Buy less. The trade-off. It might be more expensive to buy healthy food, but it's not as expensive as your deductible is going to be when you're trying
Oh,
to get
Well,
care.
and the
ouch.
way
That's
that
a
you
very
feel
good
about
point.
yourself. You feel better when you're eating
I-
nutritionally rich
100%.
food.
Yes.
I feel
Okay.
good when I have a
So,
good, beautiful
I
salad.
basically do one day off a week where I don't call it a cheat day, because that implies that you're doing something wrong. It's more of an off day where if I know I'm really craving a pizza and a beer, I can't wait to get to my off day, and I'm
Okay.
going to do that, because life is to be enjoyed too. You
Yeah.
want to go out, you want to play with your grandkids, you want to be able to get up off the ground when you're done and not call for help to do that.
That's
Those
so
are all muscle issues.
interesting. I for the first time snow skiing this year, I was worried about being able to get back up
Yeah.
when I fell,
Yeah,
but only because I just hadn't been working those muscles.
it's true. It's true.
Mm,
I was
good
walking my
point.
dog the other day, and I was on one of those short walls that sort of surround our patio.
Right?
And so she was on the ground and I'm holding the leash, and then she wanted to go in. And I froze for a second. I'm like, I have to jump off of this, I don't know,
Something you wouldn't have
3
thought
foot.
twice
And I'm
about.
like, when did that happen? That I'm sort of going, okay, let's concentrate. Let's jump. And
And
it's
look
like,
how fit you are.
where
Why
did
do you
that-
think
It
that?
happens.
Yeah.
It just does. It's mentally, you kind
Yeah.
of go,
Let's be safe.
And I watch a lot of people that are injured, and
Right.
there's hips, there's knees, there's arthritis, there's
Mhm.
diabetes, and it's everyone has a different challenge. That's why I like to have that first half hour when we just meet and talk and
Yeah.
figure out
Get to know their issues.
what's going on. What is
I
your
like that.
goal? How honestly willing are you going to be to put in the time and
Yeah.
effort?
No,
'Cause
I totally agree.
It's a whole mindset shift. That your point. It's
Sure.
you got to start looking at things differently.
So we talked about the carnivore reset.
Boy.
Tell me about this. This is a nutrition book, I'd assume.
Yeah, carnivore.
Workbook?
Carnivore is a little more off mainstream. I basically have done a challenge where I did nothing but beef and water
So this is like an Atkins
for a
kind of
month.
thing?
It's essentially, yeah.
Okay.
So the carnivore runs the gamut from real super strict, which is the 30-day challenge I did, where it was just beef and water,
Yeah.
to chicken, beef, eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, things that have good amount of, but come from a living source
Okay.
versus fruits and vegetables, which a lot of people get caught up in. Those things are supposed to be healthy for you.
Not all are.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the case. So yeah, there's a little misconception, and I think
Do you have
there's
menus and food
I'm
lists in
gonna
here?
I'm gonna do a workbook for carnivore as well.
Okay. All right.
I want to
Good.
get into there, but this basically just explains the basics of it
Okay.
and why it's an interesting thing to, if nothing else, to do a reset. Do 30 days where you eliminate everything and then start introducing things back in and start to see what is giving you grief. You know, once you're clean and you've gotten to a space where you can go, all right, let me try peanuts. You know, let me try something that I thought was giving me issue and see if it really is.
I've
And
done that.
so
It's fascinating.
I might like to do this with you for the
Yeah.
next 30
Yeah, yeah.
days.
Oh, I'd be-
Honestly, that'd be cool.
I'd be willing.
that's
And you've
awesome.
got the testosterone.
Well, so in 10 words or less,
Restore your
how do you
testosterone.
restore your testosterone?
So there's a few techniques, but by and large, a lot of it is also nutrition and it's fitness
Okay.
together. You're challenging your body to have to replenish itself. If it's not being challenged, if it's sitting on the couch, your testosterone level drops because honestly, you've become less necessary in the survival, you know, in the evolutionary chain.
Tell Minnie that again. That'll get them off the couch.
So I mean, essentially, you know, the more complacent you are, the less you use it, the less your testosterone is necessary. The more your body's going to go,
Use
we
it or
don't need
lose
to
it.
do this.
Yeah. Use
it or
He's not
lose
doing
it.
anything with it.
Right.
Hanging
and
out watching TV.
But the nice thing is it's also totally restorable. So you just get out there, start getting started.
Oh.
I like to focus on the optimism of it. It doesn't have to be a death sentence. You can absolutely turn stuff around. You just need to decide you're going to do it.
So somebody who's in their 60s and they've really let their body go, you're saying don't give up?
100%.
Okay.
80s.
Right. 80s even.
Yeah.
90s.
I have so many people who are shocked that they'll say to me, I feel ridiculously better. I didn't think I could feel this anymore. It's a
wanna feel
wonderful
that.
feeling to watch people kind
It's
of get the light
vibrancy.
clip on. Mhm.
Yeah.
I keep
Yeah.
I'm like,
word,
that
yeah.
to me is the perfect word
Yep.
for what exercise and being mentally fit is. You feel vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in
Right.
the game.
And we still have that ability to be that way.
Mhm.
True. And we are going to show you a couple of exercises from this reset workbook. And again, just something you can do at home by watching this podcast. But TR, you're available as a personal trainer for hire in our neighborhood here in Sun City, Texas. And then I think we've all agreed we'd like to do this on a regular basis and really show people
I'm in.
what you can do at home.
Start from the
Love
scratch.
that.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to work on one of the injuries and one of the painful parts of bodies that I typically see, which is shoulders, rotator cuff. So the first one is going to be putting your arms at your side, and you're going to go directly into going straight up till you're about horizontal with your chest, and then back down. So you're going up.
And do you need weights?
You don't have to. You can always start with not at all, or just grabbing something around the house that's got a lighter weight to it if you don't have a weight handy.
Okay, how many are we doing?
So we typically would go to 10.
Okay,
And then as soon as we stop that, we immediately go into a fly.
okay.
So the first one was a lateral raise, and then you're going into a fly. You can modify it so that you're extending your arms wider, and that's going to be a little harder to work, or you can bend your arms and kind of work your way towards having the arms straighter. And then
So I was just going to mention, I think, and then I know this sounds silly, but it really paying attention to my shoulders and what's happening in my shoulders when I do a shoulder
That's right.
exercise.
That's a very good.
Makes it not feel like, oh, well, gosh, I've had it all in my elbow or my hands.
Yeah.
You really have to focus on the area.
That's an insightful comment, because essentially that's one of the first things I try to train away for people is your body wants to find the easiest way to do something.
Yeah.
So when the third part of this is going up over your head, which is a press. And the easiest thing to do when you tell your body subconsciously, this is what I want to accomplish, is it starts to say, okay, well, start to use your back and your shoulders. Then when you get to here, start to shift to there. Then you use your wrists. It wants to create a sort of symphony of what needs to work. And your idea is to say, nope, we're just going to use that one shoulder. And you actually mentally have to think about what you're doing in order to get it up.
And it's weird, right?
It is. It makes it harder.
I never noticed what a
Yep.
difference it made.
That's very insightful.
It hurts.
Very true. Yep. So you know when you're doing it and it's hurting in the right spot, you know
Yeah.
you're doing it right.
Yeah.
If you start kind of kicking up and using other things to help you get it done, you're not getting the most out of it.
You don't want things to hurt, do you?
You don't
Well,
want them to hurt per se, but you don't. You want to know that you're challenging the right spot.
that's it. Yes, not
wanna
hurt.
feel it.
Exactly.
That's right.
I feel it exactly in my shoulders where it feels like this is where I feel like I need a stretch.
Yeah.
I need to
Yep.
work this.
Yep. And the other thing is to be intuitive, because if you're doing something, whether your coach is telling you to or not, if it feels painful or you feel something, speak up, stop. Don't go beyond what you feel is a reasonable strain, because sometimes people push through because they think they need to, do what they're being told. You don't want to do that either. You want to have the body feedback that only you're going to know.
You're right.
Only you're going to feel it.
You're right. You know the difference between something being a little hard, a little
Mhm.
uncomfortable, and like, oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, I just, yeah. Okay.
So that one's the shoulders.
Nice.
A lot of times people keep a lot of tension in their upper neck, and they
Makes you
just
have that hunch.
exactly, yeah. So the cortisol, the stress hormone, tends to focus up here. So one of the things that helps to alleviate that is very simply, it's called a shrug. You're taking whatever kind of heavy thing you can find. You don't necessarily want to do this with nothing in your hand. You need some resistance,
Okay.
and you're literally just bringing your shoulders to your ears as if you were shrugging. And you're pulling that tension up out of your shoulders and strengthening your trapezoid. They're traps.
And I'm feeling that.
You should feel it up in through here. So this muscle in through here, your traps.
Yes. Okay. That's where I'm feeling it.
So that's where you want to go there with that one.
Oh, I think everybody needs this. We
Right.
all have all this stress.
Cortisol is a very difficult one too. It's one that is, it's easy to say try to relieve your stress. Who can, right?
I know.
But it really causes a lot of
When
grief.
People tell me to calm down.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Who responds well to calm down?
Right.
Nobody.
But yeah, it's one of those things that's ubiquitous in everything. You're always stressed. The cortisol is always rolling, and it's just it's that hormone that used to get us out of danger, get away from the saber tooth, and it was a quick burst, and then you were done, and you leveled back down. Now we're just in this constant state of what's the deadline? How am I going to meet it? What's the next thing on my list? And your cortisol just stays up all the time, and there's a lot of studies showing how dangerous and how deadly that is to just be in that state all the time.
So look,
Especially for that over 50.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yep. Because I think pervasive things like your health, worrying about your doctor, what's your next thing, what's wrong with you, those things just keep you elevated. They don't give you need to just breathe. And I know that's easier than it sounds, but
Okay, I do have a very important question because I'm 100% believer that my health is directly related to my stress level in
Mhm.
my life of
Mhm.
not dealing with stress
Yeah.
and becoming this person, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
Stress is the disease maker
Yeah.
and killer.
And you
I just
dissolve a lot
believe
of that
it.
when you work out. You're using your
Yes.
stress. You're causing that stress to have somewhere to go. Just again,
Yes.
like the saber-toothed tiger, you're running away from something to save your life, and your body is amped up in order to do that. You start working out and you dissipate it, you dissolve it. It stops being
And if you
such
don't, it just starts getting
sitting
right
there.
inside
Yep.
there and everywhere else and causes all these health issues.
You are correct. You're right.
Okay, I am exhausted just watching Lisa do those exercises. It gets easier, yes?
I
It
can
does.
do it.
Okay.
Look at those
There
already.
you go.
She did great. She did great.
What's our goal this summer? Let's just give everybody kind of a 3-month goal if they're following along.
I think that don't over promise to yourself.
Okay.
Just give some grace to yourself, but
Mhm.
slowly start making some changes that over time will make a difference slowly. Because if you get too hard, again, with these GLP-1s, people go into this fasting mode. They go into this crazy things happen really quickly mode. And that's unnatural in a sense, because
Right.
then at some point you have to stop. And if you haven't learned to sort of tailor your diet and your nutrition and your
Yeah.
fitness, you're going to fall back down. So use it as a time to be a tool, not a crutch.
And I've been honest, I am on a GLP-1 compound. I just started it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks
Right,
ago.
yeah.
So I am going to do this 30-day reset with you, and we're
Cool.
going to talk about that, and I'll give my examples of that GLP-1. And of
That's
course,
great.
you're the Energizer Bunny, so.
Yeah, well, I'm not giving up my wine yet, so I'll be part of it.
All right. These are all over. They are all available on Amazon. We also have the Mind workout books as well. And so this is the Over 50 Body Reset. So check it out on Amazon. We've got all the links down here. And TR, thank you for
Yes.
joining
You bet, guys. I
us.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
gosh.
Let's
Yeah,
get
great.
working. Let's live
Okay.
our lives.
Let's go.
All right.